What's up, guys? JT Postman here, and we are back with another episode of our Let's Talk NHL series. And in this video, I want to talk about the contract extensions for Columbus Blue Jackets defenseman Seth Jones and Tampa Bay Lightning captain Steven Stamkos. Now, I'll start off with Seth Jones. Now, Seth Jones, he was extended for 6 years, $32.4 million. That is an average annual value of $5.4 million per season. So this is a great deal for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, they got Seth Jones, obviously, this past season for Ryan Johansson, and it was an incredible deal for both sides. But what Seth Jones did, and I went down to Philly, the Wells Fargo Center, and I saw a Blue Jackets Flyers game, and Seth Jones looked really strong. I mean, he's a great defenseman, and he's 6'4", 208. He uses his size. Since he went to Columbus, in the first 40 games of the last season in Nashville, he had 11 points in 40 games. In Columbus, he put up 20 points in 41 games, so he almost doubled his point total in Columbus. So he's definitely played a lot better given the extra minutes, and he's only getting better every season. He's only done better. So sky's the limit still for Seth Jones. He's still only 21 years old, which is insane. He can easily become a top 2 defenseman. So, I mean, to get him for the next 6 years at only $5.4 million per season, you see Keith Yandel get 6.3 and Goligoski get around like 5.5 or something. 5.4 is great for Seth Jones, a solid two-way defenseman, future top 2 defenseman. That's an amazing deal for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I mean, you look at their defensive core, they just bought out Fedor Tutin. It's a pretty good defensive core. I mean, you have Jones, Jack Johnson, David Savard. I mean, it's an okay defensive core. It still needs a bit of work. Ryan Murray as well. But, I mean, it is solid, that top 4. Dalton Proud as well. But Bobrovsky, he needs to have a bounce-back season. They got Pierre-Luc Dubois, so if he, I don't know if he'll play this upcoming season. I mean, maybe. But if he plays center, then you've got a pretty good top 6. Dubinsky, Dubois, Foligno, probably not Hartnell, but we'll see. I know I'm forgetting another winger. Oh, man, who am I forgetting? Kim Atkinson, too. I mean, they've got a pretty good team there in Columbus. Brandon Saad, that's who I'm forgetting. I mean, I can definitely see them making the playoffs if they make another move in free agency. If they sign a defenseman, maybe another forward. I think they'd have to buy out or trade Scott Hartnell first, but we'll see. But yeah, great deal for Columbus, and a solid deal, a solid amount of money for Seth Jones. I mean, that deal, even at 6 years, that still only takes him until he's 27. So he's making $5.4 million a year, and he still hasn't really hit his big payday yet. I mean, how many players get a deal that pays them $5.4 million a year at 21 years old, for 6 years? That's pretty good. So, it's not like he's 25 years old getting this contract and saying, wow, it's a steal. It is for now, but when he's 27 years old, I mean, he could easily make more than $7 million a year, maybe more, depending on how good he becomes. But yeah, now on to the big one. The Tampa Bay Lightning re-signed their captain, Steven Stamkos, for 8 years, $68 million, $8.5 million a year. Wow, man. Steve Yzerman is a genius. Now, I obviously wasn't around in, the 70s, 80s, most of the 90s. Obviously wasn't, old enough to watch hockey in the 90s. So I don't know GMs from back then. Obviously, there were some great GMs. But in the last, since the 2005 lockout, has there been a better GM than Steve Yzerman? I mean, this guy is a genius. Absolute genius. I mean, the first big thing he did in Tampa was trading Marty St. Louis to the Rangers for Ryan Callahan and 2 first-round picks. That was a great deal. Now, also, at the draft, what did they do? I forget. They did something at this draft. Maybe they did. No, I thought they did something at this year's draft that I thought was a great move, but I'll skip that for now. But to get Steven Stamkos, to be able to keep him for a lot less money than he could have gotten from some other teams. That's brilliant. I mean, he never overextended to get Stamkos. He stuck to his offer, $8.5 million a year for 8 years. That's what he was offering. When it got to June 29th, days away from free agency, 2 days away from free agency, he didn't panic. He didn't raise his offer to $9 or $9.5 million a year. He didn't go trading other guys to make room. He didn't go trading his rights. He stuck to it. He stuck to his original offer, and eventually Steven Stamkos came around. And I have a lot of respect now. Not that I didn't before, but I have even more respect now for Steven Stamkos. For him to stay in Tampa Bay, that's huge. Steven Stamkos is not an older player that's only a couple years away from retirement, that's looking to settle down and pick a team that could win a cup, but then he can easily retire on that team. Because usually players like that go to a place like Florida or Arizona, a nice place to, kind of be on vacation while you play hockey. Anaheim as well, anywhere in California. No, he's staying there to try to win a cup for the team that drafted him and the team that he's the captain of. He turned down a lot of money that he could have gotten from some other teams. I mean, he could have gotten $12 million from teams like maybe Buffalo, New Jersey, Arizona. Definitely north of $10 million from teams like Detroit, maybe the Rangers, depending on what they could have done, but probably not. Toronto even. But he settled for $8.5 million a year for the Lightning. That says a lot about the type of player Steven Stamkos is. He really wants to. I mean, he wasn't kidding when he said he really wanted to stay in Tampa, and he really wants to stay in Tampa. And it happened. It's crazy. $8.5 million a year. He could have gotten $11, $12 million a year, at least $10.5, and he settled for $8.5 to stay with the team that drafted him. I mean, Tampa Bay fans, I can't even imagine how great that must feel for you guys. Ryan Callahan, I hate that player. I hate Ryan Callahan because he was the captain of the New York Rangers. The Rangers drafted Ryan Callahan. He was supposed to be what every Ranger aspires to be. But the Rangers offered him, well, it was like $6 million a year. He wanted like $7 million at first. Then he got it down to like $6.5 million a year. And he didn't bring down his asking price. And so the Rangers said, well, forget you. Traded him to Tampa. And then he ended up signing a Tampa for $5.8 million a year, less than what the Rangers originally offered him. I mean, he got greedy. He wanted like an extra $500,000 a year, when he could have just settled for $6 million a year, which he's not even worth $6 million. And he left the team. All right, see ya. We don't care about you. I mean, I wasn't even sad after they got rid of Callahan. I was like, all right, good riddance. You don't want to play. You don't want to be the captain of the New York Rangers original 6 team in Madison Square Garden. Well, leave then. For $6 million a year. I mean, are you kidding me? Steven Stamkos, he turned down like $12 million a year to stay. I mean, half the league was going to bid on this guy, and he took, $2 million pay cut, $4 million pay cut to stay in Tampa Bay. So I can't even imagine how great that makes Tampa Bay fans feel. I mean, I would go out and get this guy's jersey right now because he just, that's incredible what he did for his organization. Not handcuffing them, not making them overpay. That's because people say nowadays, and it's true. Players have all the leverage. They have these no trade clauses, and they get these insanely high bids in free agency. They can go wherever they want. But in this situation, Stamkos didn't screw over the Tampa Bay Lightning. $8.5 million a year, that's, you could even say, a steal for how good Steven Stamkos is. I mean, I'll read off some stats here. I mean, I don't even know if I need to, but, I mean, starting from 2009-2010, 95 points, 51 goals. 10-11, 91 points. 11-12, 97 points, 60 goals. 12-13, 57 points, 29 goals in 48 games. 13-14, that was the year he broke his leg. 40 points in 37 games. 2014-15, 72 points in 82 games, 43 goals. Last year, 64 points in 77 games, 36 goals. Now, I know people are saying, oh, well, he's obviously showing signs of, declining. He wasn't a point per game in 2014-15. He wasn't a point per game last year. But, I mean, he's still only 26 years old. And when you look at a player and see that he scored 43 goals one year, 36 goals the next, and say, that's not good enough, or he's getting worse, that must mean that player is incredible. Because if 36 goals is an off year, which for Stamkos it is, you just explain how amazing of a player he is. He's gonna have a bounce back year this year. He's going to continue to put up. I don't know if he'll hit 50 goals again, not because of him, but because of the league now. I mean, back in even 2012, you could score 60 goals a year. You could score 50 goals a year. Now, it's very tough. Alexander Ovechkin is the best goal scorer of all time, and that's why he's still able to do it. But I don't know if Stamkos can do it. He can still definitely hit 40. He can still hit 90 points, which he will. And then at $8.5 million a year. You see then Tays, Kane, Kopitar getting all this money. Takes $8.5 million. That's incredible. Great job, Steve Yzerman. Great job. Great on you, Steven Stamkos, for staying in Tampa. Great job by Steve Yzerman, not giving in, not panicking, and sticking to his original asking price. It all worked out in the end, and I'm very happy that it worked out like that, because I was afraid he'd go to Detroit or any other team. And another thing, too, I'm really happy that he did not go to the Toronto Maple Leafs, because I was saying, at the beginning of this regular season, I was thinking, he's probably going to the Toronto Maple Leafs, because I don't think there's any way that the Lightning are going to be able to sign him, because he's going to want money. No matter how loyal he is to his team, he's going to want, $20-something million more if he can get it from another team, which he would. But as the season went on, all the Toronto fans basically already ordering custom Steven Stamkos Toronto jerseys, like, no, he's coming to Toronto. Like, not even hopeful, but, like, serious. Like, no, he's going to be a Maple Leaf. And, they really believed it. And, seeing all rumors like, no, what do you guys talking? He's going to Toronto. There's no way. He's going to take a hometown discount and come to Toronto. Well, guess what? He's not even leaving Tampa. Never mind going to Toronto. So, that just shows, again, how loyal he is to the Tampa Bay Lightning. He not only turned down more money, but he turned down taking more money from his hometown team. The team he grew up cheering for. That's incredible. That's how much he cares about the Tampa Bay Lightning, and that's how much he wants to win a Stanley Cup with the Lightning. So, that's incredible. So, Tampa Bay fans, let me know what you guys think. Everyone else, let me know. Fans of other teams, how disappointed are you guys that Steven Stamkos isn't in free agency? I'm just disappointed because now free agency is kind of boring. Who's the biggest name out there now? Milan Lucic? Eriksson? These guys are above average second liners, really. Maybe first liners, low end first liners. There's no stars out there anymore. Keith Yandel signed, Alex Goligoski signed, Stamkos signed. There's nobody left now. Goaltenders, the best one's James Reimer. It's not a very good free agency pool anymore. But we'll see. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next episode.